All right, Mercer folks, you want to make your way over and help us out here so everybody can hear and see and ask questions? Well, everybody set up and good? All right, good afternoon and welcome to our weekly news conference sponsored by Georgia Power. We've got a lot of things to talk about and most of them are on the upbeat. However, we do want to share with you, we do want to send our prayers and thoughts to the family of Allie Walden. Allie was one of our volleyball players. She was diagnosed with bone cancer prior to the 2024 season. She was a native of Odessa, Florida, and she passed away yesterday. So certainly our thoughts and prayers are with one of our athletes and their family during this time. Now, back to Saturday, what a day it was. I wish all of you could have been there. It was a long drive home. No, it wasn't either. It was a short drive home. Fun drive home, no matter what the clock said. But tremendous win by the Bears over ETSU, 38-34, down twice by 10, 27-17, and 34-24. A lot of players excelled. In case you have not seen yet, C.J. Miller was named the Stats Perform FCS National Offensive Player of the Week. Their quote, Miller was a workhorse during Mercer's 38-34 victory at ETSU in the Southern Conference. He established career highs for carries, 29, rushing yards, 172, rushing touchdowns, 2, while adding 3 receptions for 41 yards for another career best with 213 yards. He plowed into the ETSU end zone from a yard out with 5:40 left for the game-winning score. Now, as Coach is going to share with us, a lot of players stepped up. Quarterback Braden Atkinson was outstanding again, 187 yards, 3 touchdowns. Caleb Hutchison and Carmelo O'Neal, career best and team-leading 11 tackles. However, the guys had plays, but end of the game, Andrew Zopp showed why he was a preseason All-American. This week we'll be coming back home. Glad to be back at Five Star Stadium, another conference game, our 4th consecutive, kickoff at 4 p.m. Of course, we'll have activities all day long, including the Ford Concert Series, and it will be Family Weekend, Georgia Infrastructure Day. With that, bring up head coach Mike Jacobs.
Good afternoon. Good to see everybody. Appreciate y'all being here. As Rick mentioned, just a tremendous win for us on the road. ETSU, I think, has got one of the better, on paper, the rosters in the conference. Coach Healy and his staff have done a tremendous job working the portal and refilling some of the holes that they had from Trey Lamb departing to go to Tulsa. And so we knew this game was going to be a tremendous challenge against a very talented team. Certainly one with a quarterback that had, started games for 2 different Big Ten schools and, just a really talented group. We go into there and we talked all week long. It was, hey, this game's we're going to need every single person in this locker room because we're a little thin right now, and we're going to need every bit of 60 minutes plus to win the game, and we literally did. We needed every player that was on the bus, and we needed every last second to win the game, but what you saw was a young football team persevere, show great resilience, and win against an extremely tough football team on the road in an environment that has been traditionally tough for us to play in, especially when the University of Tennessee is out of town. So, I couldn't be more proud of how our kids played. And the way that we played is most impressive to me and what I'm most proud of, right? Since I've got here, we've talked about the line of scrimmage, probably more than you folks want to in the media, talking about offensive line play. But the job that Brian Folkerts has done with that room, and for us to come out from the very first run play that was 9 yards from the line of scrimmage, it really didn't go back. I don't think we had a negative run play until like a little bit into the 4th quarter when we were trying to bleed the clock. And to do that against a Chad Staggs coach defense that brings quite a bit of pressure and presents a bunch of different looks. We rushed for 230 plus yards on the day. The biggest thing is we had 0 sacks. So we talked about it all week going into the game. If we can keep our young quarterback clean, our wideouts are going to have a chance to make some big plays with the type of pressure that they bring. And you saw that throughout the course of the day. Certainly not just C.J. Miller, but what a great night he had, right? Over 170 plus yards, and he had 93 yards after contact. And so that's just bullying people. And he's a guy that throughout his career has battled, and at times we saw it flash last season in a dual role with Dwayne McGee, but he has really stepped up with some of our injuries in the running back room, and he has become a workhorse for us. And Micah Bell, he had a solid night as well running the football, and really, but just CJ, just the way he carried the football, the way he caught the ball, made a big play on a screen pass, was really critical for us. And then again, Braden Atkinson, you're not going to throw for 300 yards every week, but he had 186 yards, and he had some big-time throws in that game. And 3 touchdowns, huge pass to Braden Smith late in the game to go up, or to bring it within 3, and just really played well. He had the 1 interception, but we'll take those. We want to be aggressive. We want to drive the ball down the field. I will take those occasionally as long as we're not, just giving them away. So all in all, offensively, a tremendous performance. Defensively, never want to say bend but don't break. I mean, we knew what going in there, that the quarterback was an extremely talented player. I know from experience, because Hakeem Meggett, who was their leading receiver, we recruited out of high school. He's part of the same recruiting class as Dwayne McGee and Xavier Jennings and those guys, so we knew what Hakeem was capable of in a talented receiver group. And so, we had to do a good job getting pressure on the quarterback. We did a great job making them one-dimensional. They rushed the ball 33 times for 66 yards, and so it wasn't like they just gave up on the run. They kept trying to run it, and we kept stopping it, forced them into a one-dimensional attack, and the quarterback had some yardage, but we held strong. I think one of the biggest defensive series in the game wasn't even the last one. Again, you go back into the first half, they had the ball on about the 1-inch line, and we had back-to-back TFLs, and then had good pressure on the quarterback, created an incomplete pass on 3rd down. They settled for a field goal, and in a 4-point game, that was the difference. But that not give up moment where, hey man, literally that far away from them scoring a touchdown, we make them force a field goal. I thought that was the defining moment in the game for us. You're seeing a number of players grow up. At one point I looked out there and we had three of the 4 defensive linemen were true freshmen. So I'm not just giving it lip service when I talk about a young football team. We are a young group of guys, and you're seeing them grow up right in front of you. So to go on the road to win that type of game, to do it with the physicality that we did, Andrew Zock, I think, had 9 quarterback hurries, and again, they're not all sacks, but you go back and you watch the tape and really study it, how many times he affected the passer. Kobe McGinnis, another true freshman who showed up. That we're doing a lot of good things, and there's a lot of young guys that are growing up right in front of our eyes. And so, you do that. Reese Griffin, again, had 8 points, I believe. He had the 49-yard field goal, and then he was 5 for 5 on PATs. And then more importantly, against a dangerous return man, we had 4 touchbacks. He had 1 fair catch. And so that affects the game. Again, you don't read it in the stat line, but those are the things that go into a successful night. So all in all, I'm really proud of our players. That was a big-time win for our program. And, we're 3-0 in the conference now. We're 2-0 on the road in the conference. And what it does is it builds our confidence going into a massive game week here at home against Samford. We obviously, Chris Hatcher, their head coach, is from Macon, so this is always his Super Bowl. And I don't care what their record says. They got a veteran quarterback. He's got talented receivers. They run around a little bit on defense. And they got nothing to lose in terms of what they're playing for. So we expect their best shot this weekend. But really excited about the way we perform. Can't wait to build on it and see how our guys practice this week. And just know that we're excited to get back in front of our family and friends. Family weekend here at 5 Star, and we can't wait for that. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, in a game where you give up almost 500 yards of total offense to get about 10 more first downs than you guys do, it seems like it may not be a recipe for success, but what else do you credit to being key to victory? You kind of talked about it in your opening statement, but was there something else that really just stood out to you in terms of, hey, we got better at this from last week, or hey,
Sure.
we did this really well?
Well, a couple of things. As Rick mentioned, at 2 different points, we were down 10 at halftime. I talked about the one where we held them to a field goal when they were on the 1-inch line. I thought that was just from a growing up standpoint, that was a big series. And then at halftime, we said, hey, we talked about it. Anybody's 1/11th can be the game breaker at any time, and that the most important series may be the one coming out of half, because they got the ball. They kicked the field goal because we turned it over right before halftime, and then they got the ball back. So that could have been a recipe for disaster, and we forced a fumble on that drive. And so just kind of that never quit mentality was big for us defensively. I think the other thing is if you look at it, we shut them out in the fourth quarter. and we had, I believe, at least one, I think 2 takeaways in the fourth quarter. And so I thought our conditioning was plus. You know, in a game we talked about their tempo. They were snapping the ball in 10 seconds or less, which is moving. So I thought our scout team did a tremendous job mimicking that in the way that we practiced this week. They gave us a tremendous look. And at the end of the game, I don't know that they weren't more tired from their pace than we were, and it shone through in our fourth quarter conditioning. So coming out of halftime, even though down 10, playing and getting the turnover, and then shutting them out in the fourth quarter, and when we needed it most, our pass rush was fresh, and we affected the quarterback every time he threw the football. And I think those 2 things are the biggest thing I gleaned from that.
And then facing a quarterback like Kate McNamara, obviously having that Big Ten experience, especially in Michigan, right? Just the success that he had there. Like having a matchup like that, how big is that for you guys as a group who just worked with some of the best, played around some of the best?
Sure.
How does that help you grow as a group?
Well, everybody's at their place for a reason. And so, you know, we'd seen him make a bunch of the throws to the sideline and some of the intermediate stuff. We had not seen him drive the ball down the field as much, and he was able to do that a couple of times. But, you know, I think what you get is you get a guy that's been in big environments. They're not going to get rattled by anything they see at this level. But I think we affected him enough that clearly you saw it with the interceptions and late in the game we got to him. We affected throws even when they weren't sacks or pass breakups. We were affecting his timing and his rhythm even though he had the yardage, right? And again, at the end of the day, man, I'm about points per game and I'm about wins and losses. I really like, do I love the stats? Yes, I love the rushing yardage under 70 yards. But when you hold people to that, they're going to throw the football more. It just is what it is.
And then having a guy like C.J. Miller who comes back to lead back now, I mean, how big of that is a transition from a guy like Dewey who's, you know, a lot shiftier, and now you've got
Sure.
power back as, you know, your lead back.
Well, again, a credit to our offensive staff and Anthony Soto, right? Think about it. This is the second year in a row where we're at the top of the conference currently with a true freshman quarterback. So the quarterback preparedness and then adapting to what our kids can do and their styles and not just being stubborn and regimented and rigid in what we do as a staff and designing game plans that he feels comfortable with that, you know, utilize his skills and talents. And then, you know, man, there's just nothing that can be said for being a bully, and he ran the ball like a bully. So it's good. It's good for our mentality.
And then, you know, I think for Samford, it's like, I don't want to, you know, rub salt in the wound, but how do you guys come out next week and prevent maybe the start that happened last year?
Yeah, we started slow. I don't think we took them for granted and had the same conversations that this game, the Mercer game in particular, is always an important one to Coach Hatcher, and that's not what drives teams. We came out and self-inflicted 5 turnovers in that game, and we started slow as heck. I don't know if it was the heat that day. They got a long walk up and down a hill to and from their locker room that you're up and down through. I don't know what it was. We'll change what we do the next time we go there, but we started slow, so we got to start fast. And to do that, we got to execute at a high level, whatever that means. Whoever's on the field first, all 3 phases. We will not take anybody lightly. We're not grown up enough as a team to think that we're going to walk on a field and just beat you because the ball rolled out. And so we know we'll get everybody's best shot. We know there's a lot on the line for them, but there's a lot on the line for us. And so our kids will be ready to roll, and we know we have to start fast this week.
I would say Cade is definitely where he needs to be as a Michigan. So,
No comment.
Well, I mean, the fourth quarter, that was, like you said, really defining moment. Talk about what was the message going into the fourth quarter? How proud are you of these guys stepping up in the fourth quarter like that?
It's a testament to our strength and conditioning staff that we were in plus condition late in the game again. It's some of the things we did defensive adjustment wise late in the game to our defensive staff, and then our players just want and desire to not be denied, and these guys will attest to it. I mean, literally, everyone's got 1/11th. Every play is important because you don't know when your 1/11 is going to be the game breaker, and that it was going to be a 60-plus minute game, and it was going to take we were going to go as long and as much as we needed to win that football game.
Well, anything more on Samford? I know you spoke a little bit about him. I know 0-5 doesn't really reflect how they are, but the SoCon looks a little different this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, in a conference where you have to play everybody every week or every season, you know, I think anybody's good enough to beat anybody. I really believe that. I mean, all you got to do is look at the Citadel team we played pretty well against, go on the road and beat Chattanooga and really hold them down. And so, you know, you can't take anyone lightly in our conference, especially when they have a veteran quarterback. Right, that's the same kid that threw for all the yards against us last year and many of the same receivers. So, like, again, there's no one in this building that is taking Samford lightly based on a record. Like, we will be prepared for a well-coached, good football team this weekend.
It's a home game, but like when you guys go on the road, you guys do something different in practice. Like, for example, you guys like put crowd noise in there. You mentioned ETSU being a hard place to play at. You guys put crowd noise like something else, like
Another place with a damn cannon. No one warned me about this. I knew about it going into the Citadel, but this one caught me off guard. I guess with the Buccaneer moniker, I guess it makes sense. But no, I mean, we typically like the crowd. I mean, there's always kind of like the mundane drum of some sort of rap music going on at practice. So we usually ratchet it up for, you know, when we play those games up a level into the FBS where we know it's more than what we normally do. You know, listen, if you can hear me hollering, it ain't that loud on the sideline, and there may have been a moment in that game where I was a little upset about something. So, you know, I think that we don't do much different, man. I'm a creature of habit, and I truly believe that being regimented without being rigid is a big thing. We're not afraid to change stuff like we did coming out of Presbyterian week. But, you know, we try to get on the road. We try to get where we're going. I think one of the unique things we do is, you know, we create an hour of connectivity every Friday night. We have family game night where, you know, we try to get our meetings out of the way before we travel. And, you know, we after dinner, we sit down and there's no phones allowed, period. And the kids do a great job with it. And I mean, we play chess, Connect Four, Jenga, and what else we got going in there? There's spades, card games. So like our guys just connect and they interact with one another, and that's something different. A lot of coaches feel like I gotta meet. Well, you know, listen, man, the hay's in the barn. If they don't know it by Friday night, they're not going to learn anything different. So to me, the connectivity piece of it late in the week is a bigger influence on our success and as our program than anything I'm going to glean from a 20-minute meeting late, trying to cram it all in before the test, right? So I think that's something unique that a lot of teams don't do.
what's a board game you love playing with the team? You get into it at all?
Listen, I enjoy watching, and my kids travel to a lot of the games, so like my son's going to get in on Jenga. He tries to play some Uno with the guys. They pacify him because I don't know that he always follows the rules. But I enjoy watching them have those moments. So I kind of sit back. But, you know, I like the ones that take a little longer. I like Monopoly. And, you know, I like my kids are of age where we still get into some chutes and ladders and some of that stuff. So I enjoy those.
Question, have you ever finished a game of Monopoly?
I don't think so. Like everybody, you talk about going as long and as much as you need to. I don't think anybody can go that far with the stuff. So, sequence is a good one. My kids really like sequence as well. Work on that memory.
What are your thoughts on, you talked about the cannons of the Citadel and obviously the TSU, but what if Mercer got like a live bear as like a mascot? Obviously you got like Bevo, you got
I'm all in on that. I don't know if the animal rights activists will let that happen anymore, but I mean, if there's an AD that would do it, I know Jim Cole be all in on something like that. So it'd be great.
just bring it out on the little ATV before the game.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Coach, last season we were talking about how the quarterback, you guys had a very veteran defense, and they were able to find some success against you guys. Your only conference loss last year. Things are obviously different this time around, but what do you think it's going to take from your defense to slow them down this time?
Yeah, I still think, you know, I know it's boring, but we're gonna have to stop the run, and we're gonna need to affect the quarterback. And again, that when I say affect the quarterback, that's pressures, that's tip balls, that's pass breakups in the back half, tip balls at the line of scrimmage. We work a lot on matching hands and just trying to affect their throwing window, even when you don't get to the quarterback. Right? You look at a season, you may face, you know, something like 500 pass reps in a season. Well, we led the country in sacks last year. I think we had like 50 something. So, you know, 90% of the time you're not going to get there, but how can you affect him in other ways? And I think affecting a veteran quarterback will be big. And then, you know, the better the coverage is, the better the rush is. The better the rush is, the better the coverage is. And so just affecting the veteran kid that is going to be well-versed and well-coached. And they also play with some tempo. That's a hallmark of a Chris Hatcher offense. So, you know, alignment, getting aligned, being prepared early, and having disciplined eyes will really go into our success on Saturday.
Don't know if you saw this, but on the Mercer, I guess it was a Facebook post, whatever, when the final score. You're an offensive line guy. You got people in the comments commenting on social media about how well the offensive line is coached. Like you said, it's not
Yeah, I think, again, I can't say enough about what Brian Folkerts has done. That's a guy that's played in the NFL at the highest level. He's won a championship in one of the summer leagues or in the spring leagues. And, he knows what it takes, and he's got them playing well. And it's, the O-line more than any other position is very developmental. And I was always told the hardest position to either coach or play on the team is the one that the head coach did. So I'm more intrusive than the coach or the players would probably care for it to be. But for them to be recognized in when people who are novice football fans that are really noticing that we're moving the line of scrimmage, I mean, that's what I envision. If you look at the people that have won at the highest level, at the FCS level, they got big folks and they move them against their will, and that's what that's where we want to be as a program. So as we get closer to that, I think those type of things are really important, and it's a testament to the young men's work and the coaching that Brian's done.
Talk about Zoff a little bit and what you've done this year, especially getting the double and triple teams.
Yeah, again, you're not going to sneak up on anyone, and you don't have Braden Manley necessarily on the other side like you did last year, where it's like pick your poison. But you got Kobe McGinnis and Braden Dudley on the other side that are affecting plays as well, and so he's still getting single blocked at times. But I think the most impressive thing about Andrew is the motor that he plays with. It is nonstop, and he gets beat. I mean, he is haggard by the end of a game, man, because he literally runs the tank dry every week. And so just the effort that he plays with, and again, the amount of plays that he makes are nothing in comparison to the amount of plays he affects by how violent and physical he plays the game. And he, for a sophomore, he's a great leader, and he's someone our kids. It's great for the head coach to be able to point to one of your best players, if not your best player, and talk about his practice habits, how he approaches everything, and what he does on a day-to-day basis for the young kids and everybody else. Hey, if you want to get to where he's at, this is how you have to do it, and here's the pathway. So he's good all the way around for everybody that way.
I think I asked you this last year, maybe not much has changed, but is there anyone willing to give you any insight into the Hatcher path, maybe?
No, I mean, he's a local man. They're not going to give the northern guy the keys to the deal. But Coach Hatcher's been doing this a long time, and he the guy's won a national championship at Valdosta State, and he's an extremely successful coach that I have a ton of respect for in this business. And I mean, it's hallmarks, man. They can score points, and they'll have great quarterback play, and they'll play with great tempo. So we'll expect all those things. And again, when you're searching for a win, we certainly expect anything's on the table in terms of just being ready for stuff that's outside what we may see in a normal scouting report. All good?
Anything else for Coach Jacobs?
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Just media day this year, when it got down to lunchtime, for whatever reason, Coach Hatcher and Coach Jacobs had lunch together, so I don't know what came out of that conversation, but we'll save that for another day.
For a restaurant list here in town.
Got it. All right, let's talk to a couple of our players. Let's go first to the defense, Braden Dudley. Braden, if you'll come up and tell folks where you're from, and maybe give a little opening statement, how you think the year's gone. Talk about the game on Saturday.
Hello, my name is Braden Dudley. I'm from Georgia. I'm from Texas, but I live in Georgia most of my life. I transferred from West Virginia University, and this season's just been really big for me. I mean, I've had to step up. Last year, I kind of had a secondary role. I kind of had to just, be a guy to just do everything right, do what I need to do. And this year, I'm kind of getting a little bit more of an expanded role, and coming back from a little bit of an injury, but I'm shaking back good. And I just feel like us as a defense together have really kind of, there's a real bond between us. I love my boy Zoc, that's my boy, that's my dog, and he's such a great character, and having people like that on your team it sets us up for success and sets us up to be, the type of defense that we are right now, where we can, we have confidence even if we're down 10 to really, hold the team, hold them in the fourth quarter. We're well conditioned. We're gonna win the fourth quarter. That's the type of confidence that we have because we know we're conditioned and we're built for it.
Great. Just describe that fourth quarter. You kind of mentioned it during your opening statement. So just the energy. How are you guys feeding off of each other? You mentioned that we were pretty close on
Man, we want it. Like, we want to win the game. Like, we have so much drive on our team, so much determination. Like, we need to win the game. That's how we feel. That's how we live our life every day in practice. And so, like, going out there and, being down, and we haven't really didn't have the best game. Like, they got some good plays on us and stuff, but we knew that, like, hey, we're going to have to come out here, tighten up the buckles, our chin straps, and, get active. But that's kind of how we, treated that fourth quarter. Like, we just had to get there.
And you mentioned transferring down from West Virginia and FBS to FCS. I know a lot of guys do the opposite. Can you just talk about what your experience has been like and just how you're kind of adjusting into a bigger role here at Mercer?
Well, people play ball anywhere. Just how you said, like, people be moving up the same way people move down. Everybody can play ball, and I think it's really just you find a place for you. Once you find that place that really fits, that's when you really get your chance to shine. I feel like that's where I kind of set up with this. Like, Mercer's really just giving me the chance to play ball the way I want, be a college student and everything. That, off the field and on the field is the same thing, really just grinding to do the best you can in life. So I think in reality, just FBS, FCS is really two different things, in a society sense, but all in all, we all still playing ball.
Describe your style of ball. You want to play the way that you like to play, but what is that for?
Sure, I just want to be explosive. I want to make an impact to the team. I want to be able to do my job, but I want to be able to be an impact. I want to do what I can to where I can, either set my back half up for success or, do something for myself or, just overall push the team to be better and be greater.
Who really stepped up as vocal leaders there in the fourth quarter? Did somebody say something that got to you, or is this just like y'all are ingrained like this? Like, everybody's on the same page?
Sure, we're all on the same page. A good vocal leader, though, is Tommy Bliss. I mean, he talks to us all day, every day. He gets the energy going. I mean, he's a great guy. Like, he knows what to say at any time, and he's just gonna, he's gonna get us pumped. But we all just have that in us. Like, everybody wants the same thing, and we're all driving towards the same thing. And just with that being there, sometimes you don't need the voice, but sometimes the voice is always there, knowing that you got Tommy Bliss or you got Hutch in the back. So most of them boys step up. Fox, they all kind of got that voice, but we all just want it the same way.
Are you more hungry? I mean, you say coming off the injury, obviously, and then being more program guy last year, stepping into your role. Do you feel you're more hungry this year to get stuff done for this team to get a win?
I mean, I've always been hungry, but I think it's just now that I know that, we've always had the hunger on the defense, but I think the connectivity that we have on this team is leaps and bounds of what I've ever seen in any team before. And I think that just, the hunger feeds off of each other. Like, we're all wanting the same thing. That just pushes us to do what we need to do as a defense.
You and McConnell got any good West Virginia stories you guys talked about?
Not that I would say out here, but yeah, it was good. It's good, West Virginia. I love West Virginia. I still love my boys up there, but it was good.
And Rick talked about bus ride back being pretty energetic. Describe the energy after the game as well.
Man, we was just happy. I just love the fact that we won. Winning is the best feeling ever. Once you win, it's everything that you've been working for is actually just, it's there on a plate, and you just, that's your cake, that's your birthday cake. You just gotta eat it at that point. So it's,
Your coach has emphasized so much defensive linemen. Maybe you don't always look at the stats, but how are you feeling after you help 60-something yards or 30 there?
I feel great. That's the D line right there. D line, the Fox. I mean, the linebackers, the whole defense. But stopping that run, that's a good feeling because you impose your will on the offensive line. That's how us as a defensive line feel. If we were able to stop the run to a degree and make them one-dimensional, we did our job, and we had a great defensive line. We graded out very well, and so I think we honed in, we executed, and we did what we needed to do as a D line, and that's a great feeling.
Okay, anything else for Brady?
Yeah, I'll cover. You talked
You
about last season how you were in the secondary kind of doing injury. How do you think you grew as a player, just seeing all those veterans out there kind of executing their roles?
I think it was something to really look forward to. I mean, obviously I transferred in. I had to learn the defense. I had to kind of step up and kind of find where I was needed to be at, but seeing them boys kind of pave the way for me or some of the other people on the team, it's kind of just like inspirational. Like you look at them and you're like, I want to be that and I want to do that and I want to make an impact like them. So you just kind of go out there and you want the same thing, and once you get in that role, you kind of just got to keep driving off that.
Okay, all right, Ray, well done. Thank you, sir. All right, let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Malik Simmons. Malik, give us a little introduction of yourself. Obviously, you've been with this guy before. Talk about that if you would, and how the season's going, especially the game on Saturday.
Sir. Hello, my name is Malik Simmons. I'm from Ohio, same as Coach Jacobs. Cleveland guy. Yes, sir.
Where are you from in Cleveland?
Bedford.
Okay, did you go to Bedford High School?
Yeah.
Nice.
Tight end, of course. I really feel like this past game just proved our perseverance. This was a very big game for us. This is like a milestone for us because started off the season a little slow. It wasn't as we expected it, but it boosted our confidence. It gave us everything that we needed in order to show us who we really can be and help us for the games coming forward. And I feel like with all that being said, like we just know not to take any game for granted or anyone for granted. And I'm really happy about the win last Saturday.
Malik, last week Sawyer Bird credited you for the big block on C.J. Miller's historic touchdown run. Just talk about keeping that success in the run blocking game this week, and how you guys are growing with the offensive line and even player yourself.
The tight end room in general, we're definitely like a room that is, I guess you would say, kind of slept on, and like no matter like what it is, but our role is definitely just as important as O-linemen or just as important as the receivers, and it's a lot that maybe like the stat line doesn't show, but we definitely do a lot. Sawyer Bird, as well as Sam, and all of us, we definitely try our best, and Coach Jacob does a good job coaching us, making sure that we are doing just as well as the old linemen. And so it's just being consistent. That's the biggest thing. Like we got to take every game as if it's our last. With me being a senior this year, is actually coming up to be my last. So we just want to play hard every game.
What are you hoping to accomplish in your last year?
Last year, just be an all-around good teammate. I'm hoping to increase my stat line when it comes to receiving for sure, and just continue to block as well as I have, which I feel like this year I've definitely had a way better emphasis on blocking.
So being from Cleveland, can you tell me why the east side is better than the west side?
We just got guys. That's all it comes down to. We got guys. It's always going to be a rivalry, but at the end of the day, I got to take the east side, man.
And are you a Browns fan too?
I'm actually not. I'm probably going to get a little backlash for this. I'm actually a Cowboys fan.
So you're from Cleveland, but you're a Cowboys fan. How does that happen?
A lot of my family is from Texas, so that's kind of where it comes from. And then growing up, my favorite player was Des Bryant, so that's kind of where like the whole X factor and everything comes from. But yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
You get any extra pressure on yourself feeling, because obviously you got two great offensive linemen as head coaches teaching you to block better. I mean, what does that mean for you personally?
I mean, it just takes my game to the next level. I don't really take it as pressure. I just take it as more so me just elevating my game.
And what do you think is going to take you to win on Saturday?
Saturday, just continue doing what we're doing. Continue to block, continue to run the ball, continue to pass the ball well, and continuing to just give our young quarterback a chance to make plays, because he definitely can. And as you can see, our receivers can. And so it's really just being consistent.
What was the moment for you guys, aside from CJ's touchdown? Was there a moment late in the game where you were like, oh, we're going to win? Either you guys have the momentum, or it was a play? Like, what was the moment for you guys?
I mean, for us, it was never really, I feel like, a moment. Like, we just knew in the back of our minds that we were going to win. Like, it was never a point in time where we was like, we was down. If you look on the sideline, no one head was down or anything of that nature. It was always uplift. Like there's nothing to be sad about it. Coach Jacobs gave a great halftime speech. Like, it was nothing really to ever just feel sad about it or anything. Like, we all knew we had the potential to come back, so we just went out there and executed.
Okay, anything else? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, again, kickoff 4 o'clock, 5-Star Stadium. Of course, we got the Ford Concert Series and other things all day long. Family Weekend Day and Georgia Infrastructure Day. Thanks for each one of you for being here. And I can attest, 4 o'clock in the morning driving home is a whole lot better when these guys play like they did Saturday night. I can just tell you firsthand. All right, thanks so much for being here. Media members, please feel free to lead us through the lunch line. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys.